Hey friend, welcome back. This is the Daily Spark. Let's learn something fun today.
I am so ready for this. I need a good story today.
You look incredibly cozy today, Mia. What is going on?
Well, I just walked in from the absolute pouring rain. My boots are totally soaked.
That is the perfect mood for today's episode, actually. A gray, moody afternoon.
Exactly. I made a huge cup of black tea to warm up. And I was listening to piano music on the train.
Very fitting. You know, talking about famous people from the past in another language can feel really scary.
Oh, absolutely. It feels like you have to sound like a history textbook.
Right. You worry about using the wrong formal words, or you just freeze up.
Yes, you think you need to be a professor to talk about history.
But English is easy. It is about connection, not rules.
You do not need fancy academic words to tell a good story. You just need the right feeling.
Exactly. So today, we will explore the dramatic final day of Beethoven's life while learning how to talk about history and legends in English.
I love this. No textbooks, just a really good, real story about a human being.
Because that's all history really is. Just people doing their best, even at the very end. So, let me ask you this. Have you ever wondered what goes through the mind of a genius in their final moments?
Oh, all the time. You think they must have these huge, profound final thoughts, right?
Right. We expect them to say something magical. We want a perfect movie ending.
But real life is almost never like a movie, even for someone as huge as Ludwig van Beethoven.
Exactly. March 1827, Vienna. The world is about to lose one of its greatest musical minds.
Just saying his name gives me goosebumps. Beethoven, the guy who wrote music that literally changed the world.
And he did a lot of it while he couldn't even hear, which is still mind-blowing to me.
It really is. Imagine being a painter who cannot see colors. That was his reality.
But today, we're not talking about his whole life. We're zooming in on his very last day.
The final 24 hours. I've heard so many wild rumors about this day.
There are so many rumors. Some people say he woke up and wrote a secret song.
Others say he cursed the heavens, or that his ghost started playing the piano.
And that's the problem with history, right? Over time, the facts get mixed up with the myths.
Yes, the stories get bigger. The man turns into a marble statue.
But on that afternoon, he was just a guy in a bed, in a dark room.
It was the 1800s. No electricity, just candlelight and long shadows on the walls.
A guy in a bed while a massive storm rolled into the city. That part is actually true.
It is true. A real storm outside and a storm inside his room, too.
His friends were gathered around, waiting, watching, knowing that the end was very close.
And the phrases we're going to teach you today, they're not just for talking about famous composers.
No, they're everyday phrases. You can use them to talk about your own life.
Your only stories, your own struggles, and the things you care about.
So, let's set the scene. Imagine you're standing in a dark, cold room in Vienna.
Before we go inside that room, honestly, I need to share something. A few years ago, a massive storm hit my hometown. My grandfather had been sick for a long time.
I remember you telling me about his daily struggle.
Yeah, that afternoon, his health suddenly dropped. He didn't make it. He passed away that night.
I'm so sorry, Mia. That is heartbreaking.
Thank you, James. I bring it up because of two phrases. First, take a turn for the worse, and second, pass away.
Let's look at take a turn for the worse first. It doesn't just mean getting sicker. It feels like a sudden shock, you know?
Exactly. You have hope, right? And then boom. It's a sharp, scary corner into bad news, like a car suddenly driving off a safe road.
Yeah, that's a perfect way to describe it. And then we have the phrase pass away. Grammar-wise, it's just a simple phrasal verb.
But emotionally, it feels so incredibly gentle. It feels like putting a soft blanket over a cold fact. It's so much kinder than just saying died.
It really is. It gives the person dignity. Well, let's go back to that dark room in Vienna. It was March 26th, 1827.
Beethoven's health took a sudden turn for the worse, right during a huge thunderstorm, too.
Yes, thunder actually shook the glass in the windows. And in that wild moment, the great legend passed away.
Think about that for a second. The sky breaking apart as a musical giant leaves Earth.
It gives me chills, honestly. I can almost hear the thunder right now.
Me too. So here is your Use It Tomorrow tip. When you hear bad news about someone's health, use these. Say, I heard he took a turn for the worse.
Or, I'm sorry to hear she passed away. It shows true empathy and respect in English. Speaking of showing empathy, you expect history to treat a dying genius with deep reverence.
Right. You imagine some grand, incredibly poetic final words.
Since he was completely deaf, maybe he suddenly heard angels?
People love that completely fake version of the legend.
Or maybe he yelled, "My brilliant music will live forever."
But the actual truth is honestly so much funnier.
A publisher sent him a special gift right before the end.
Was it a grand musical tribute from his fans?
Nope, it was just 12 bottles of wine.
Wait, 12 bottles of wine? Are you serious?
Yes, Beethoven made this tragic little gesture towards the bottles.
He looked at the wine and spoke his final words.
He just whispered, "Pity, pity, too late."
I love that. Let's break down that feeling.
When you say it's a pity, how does it feel?
I mean, it doesn't feel like deep, soul-crushing grief.
No, it feels much lighter. It's a heavy sigh.
You know, you just feel this mild, helpless disappointment.
Imagine dropping your favorite ice cream right on the pavement.
You just stare at it in total defeat.
Exactly. And then he adds the phrase, "too late."
This phrase feels so incredibly ironic in this specific story.
It feels exactly like missing your train by 1 second.
You run up, panting, and see the doors slide shut.
They close right in your face.
You have definitely been there, right?
That sinking feeling when the doors close, that is exactly what a pity captures. Here's your Use It Tomorrow tip.
When a friend misses out on a really good opportunity.
Like missing a great sale at their favorite clothing store.
Just say, "Oh, it is a pity you missed it."
Or you can say, "You were just too late."
It shows you care without making it a huge tragedy.
But wait, the tragedy of the missing wine wasn't the absolute end.
Right, the actual final second of his life is much more intense.
In Western movies, dying heroes usually whisper something soft, you know? They just fade away quietly into the night.
It is very poetic, but real life is rarely that peaceful.
Exactly. Beethoven didn't fade away gently. He decided to fight until the end.
Oh, fight until the end. That phrase feels incredibly heavy.
It really does. It feels stubborn. It's pure, raw survival energy.
You don't use this phrase for a minor disagreement, right?
No way. You use it when the odds are totally against you.
Like a sports team losing by 50 points in a final match? They still play hard. They refuse to just sit down and quit.
Yes, they fight until the end. It's about deep personal pride.
So, back to that dark bedroom. A loud storm is raging outside.
There's a sudden, blinding flash of lightning. Then a huge thunderclap shakes the whole room.
That sudden noise must have been absolutely terrifying.
And in his final struggle, Beethoven actually opens his eyes wide.
He looks straight up and he makes one final, powerful gesture.
He literally decides to raise a fist at the stormy sky.
To raise a fist, that feels so amazingly defiant.
It's anger mixed with pure power. You're threatening the universe.
Right, it's not a polite wave, it's a physical challenge.
I mean, he was challenging death itself right there in bed.
I love that image. It's so dramatic and bold.
I want you to feel that dramatic, stormy energy right now.
Next time you drop your keys, look up and raise a fist.
Honestly, that is a fantastic and hilarious idea.
You can also use fight until the end at work tomorrow.
Like when the office coffee machine breaks completely before a meeting. But you still managed to finish that incredibly boring report anyway.
Exactly. You fought until the end. You're a modern hero.
A very tired, severely uncaffeinated hero, but a hero nonetheless.
Speaking of tired heroes, imagine fighting that hard but never enjoying the victory.
Or in Beethoven's case, never actually hearing it. People always say his greatest tragedy was being totally deaf. Honestly, I disagree completely about that.
Wait, really? You don't think that was his biggest struggle?
Well, no. The real tragedy is creating a beautiful masterpiece in silence. He gave the world music, but received absolutely nothing back.
I mean, I see your point. But losing the ability slowly over time is way worse to me. The anticipation of the quiet would drive me crazy.
You know, that's a fair point. Let's let our friends decide. Which of those two fates sounds more heartbreaking to you?
Both are devastating, honestly. Let's start with lose your hearing. Emotionally, it feels like a slow, cruel theft.
Right. It's not a sudden drop like a bad phone connection. Let's let our friends decide. You lose it piece by piece, like a fading radio signal.
Exactly. You slowly notice the birds getting quieter every single morning.
Or you realize you can no longer hear your own footsteps.
It feels terrifying, not just medically unfortunate.
It carries so much more grief than simply saying someone became deaf.
And then he had to compose his final works in silence.
That phrase feels so incredibly isolating, doesn't it? It feels like being trapped inside a thick glass box.
You can see the orchestra playing, but the world is totally muted.
Doing anything in silence feels heavy, lonely, and completely separated from others.
Yet this absolute legend wrote his best symphonies trapped in that quiet.
It really is mind-blowing when you think about it.
So try using in silence at the office tomorrow.
It's a great way to describe an intense mood.
If a coworker is super focused, say she finished the report in silence.
It makes them sound intensely dedicated to their job. Or maybe they're just really mad at you.
Honestly, if they're that mad, you probably did something wrong.
Well, if you make Beethoven mad, he writes an angry symphony.
Or he cuts you out of his will completely.
But after that massive storm ended, a heavy quiet fell over Vienna.
Right, the Titan was finally at rest.
Picture this. You're standing in the chilly streets of Vienna.
It's a few days after he died.
You step forward and bow your head gently.
You're there to honor someone you've never even met.
Can you guess the phrase for that action?
Did you get it? The phrase is pay respects, and it captures so much care in just 2 words.
It feels very solemn and highly respectful, you know?
It is not just casually saying goodbye. I mean, it's an honoring action.
Like going to a funeral or standing at a famous memorial.
Right. It's a formal, deeply polite gesture.
Even though he was totally deaf, the whole city felt deeply connected to him.
They stood in the bitter cold to pay respects.
They did this because of what he managed to leave behind.
That brings us to another great phrase, leave behind.
This phrase feels heavy, but also incredibly beautiful.
It's the invisible thread connecting them to you even after you're gone.
He didn't just leave behind simple sheet music, you know?
No, honestly, he left behind a complete musical revolution.
Despite the literal storm on his final day, his legacy survived.
It feels like a permanent gift to the future.
When someone passes, we always talk about what they leave behind.
You can use this phrase in everyday life too.
Like when you move to a brand new city.
You leave behind your old apartment and your favorite cafe.
Or quitting a job, you leave behind great coworkers.
Try it tomorrow. Ask a friend about a past move.
Just ask, what did you hate to leave behind?
It's such a great conversation starter. What an incredibly beautiful story.
A fitting end for a true genius. But before we go, let's review what we learned.
Wow, what a heavy, beautiful story. Let's take a deep breath and look back at our vocabulary for today.
Good idea. In our story, we used some really powerful phrases. We mentioned how Beethoven's health took a turn for the worse.
And sadly, we talked about how he passed away that evening.
We also pictured how he decided to raise a fist at the stormy sky. Such a dramatic, unforgettable image.
It really is. Now let's review our 5 core words. First up, you might have heard us say the word struggle.
Think of the feeling when you try to open a really tight jar of jam. Your hands hurt, your face turns red, but the lid will not move. That frustrating effort is a struggle. Or when you try to understand native speakers talking way too fast.
Exactly.
It is tough. Here's your use it tomorrow example. I'm really struggling to wake up early this week.
Perfect. Next up, you might have heard us say the word deaf.
Imagine putting on the thickest noise-canceling headphones in the world, but you can never, ever take them off.
You can't hear the birds outside or your favorite song. It's a very isolating reality.
For your use it tomorrow sentence, you could say something simple. My grandfather's dog is getting old and is a little deaf.
Word number 3. You might have heard us say the word storm.
Picture the sky turning completely black in the afternoon. The wind is howling loudly and heavy rain is crashing against your window.
I actually love a good storm when I'm safely inside with a blanket.
Try using it tomorrow like this. We had to cancel the beach picnic because a huge storm rolled in.
Next on our list is gesture. You might have heard us say this when talking about Beethoven's final moments.
Think of a gesture as your body speaking when words completely run out. A silent wave goodbye at the airport, a tight hug. Your body does the talking.
But it can also be a kind action, like buying your coworker a coffee when they look totally exhausted.
That's my favorite kind of gesture. Here's how you can use it tomorrow. Sending a handwritten card to the hospital was a truly beautiful gesture.
Finally, word number 5. You might have heard us say the word legend.
This is someone whose story is so massive, it survives for hundreds of years, like a real-life superhero of history.
Everyone knows their name, but in everyday English, we also use it casually for friends who do something super helpful.
Exactly. Your use it tomorrow example. Thanks for helping me fix my flat tire in the rain. You're an absolute legend. And that brings us to the end of today's story.
You know, learning English can feel like a storm sometimes. It can be a real struggle.
It absolutely can. You might feel like you are fighting the grammar rules, just like Beethoven fought his fading hearing.
But you are still here. You are still showing up and trying. And that is a pretty great gesture to yourself.
Exactly. Don't give up. Remember our big promise today. You do not need textbook words to talk about history.
You just need the right feeling.
So, here's your challenge for this week. Try using the word legend tomorrow.
Yes, next time someone holds the door for you or brings you a pen,
Just look at them and say, "You are a legend." It'll make their day.
it really will. Tell us in the comments, who is a legend in your own life right now?
I can't wait to read those answers. We talked about deaf ears, storms, and struggles today. So much good vocabulary.
And such a powerful story to remember.
Before we go, I want to leave you with a thought.
I'm listening.
Next time, you know that frustrating feeling when you have the perfect idea in your head, but the moment you open your mouth to explain it, your mind goes completely blank? We've all been there, and we're going to fix it.
Oh, I need that episode so badly.
Me too. This has been the Daily Spark Radio. See you next time.